What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to part 2 of the Settlers AI only game. We are into the highlights, phase 2 section, episode 2, phase 2, whatever you want to call it. Not as packed a map as we've been experiencing in the recent games, for sure. And immediately we do have a war breaking out in the top of the map. America going after the Romans again, still with pretty ancient era units. Despite being in turn 250. So we'll see how this goes for the US and for the other civs as we continue to try and find a winner. And I wonder how many turns are we going to need to do that. But leave your comments. What turn do you think we'll get down to the last few civs? We probably won't even get to one. But let me know what you think and we will get right into it. The Zulu go in on the Songhai and it looks like they're going to be able to take control of Mecca here, the former Arabian city, pretty comfortably. I say that now. No, it's not there yet. They do have their MP units, which are good for the current era. Rome is also on the edge, but looks like it's going to hold. The US does peace out with the Romans and grabs Neapolis here in the north, so they get some good copper resources for themselves. Portugal also settling a random city in the middle, but apart from that, I'm just seeing lots of wars between civs that aren't even near each other. So. And we've done like 50 turns, so nothing crazy. And Persia loses their capital. That came out of nowhere. It was going on and then just boom, it fell. It didn't feel very quick at all. But that is a blow for them. They still have a few cities left, but pretty rare to come back from losing a capital. So that sucks. And Portugal, another good gain. Got a settler on the way as well. Okay, I'm letting the game run a bit more each time just because I've realised I've made a mistake with the settler difficulty. It is going to take some time. I can see that now. So we're going to take some bigger jumps just because I'm a human being. There's only so much time in the week. But I'm going to give you a little update on all our empires. Spain is here. They're a lovely little coastal empire. We have the Austrians who are doing quite well for themselves. Oh, little menu pop up as we hit turn 500. As you can see, we did about 100 turns since I last stepped in. Austria has artillery and has launched a campaign against the Songhai and captured the city of Gien, which is very useful. Also, the Songhai completed the Great Mosque. Oh, is that actually? That might be a different Gien. Add a D in front. If it's the same one, pretty cool. If not, never mind. But cool if it is that they got it. It seems the Huns grabbed this in a peace deal. That seems new. But you can see there's kind of constant wars, but most of them don't lead to anything because you just need the AI is not very good with their units here. They seem to burn out very quickly, and you don't see those massive pushes that you get in deity difficulty. The Zulu are here though. They have been kind of probably the victim of the most declarations of war. I say that as Persia is wiped off the map, so that's a bit harsh. But okay, maybe Persia was in a worse position. But then, yeah, there you go. The Zulu tend to get declared on quite a bit. You have the huge sprawling USA out here at the moment. They do look pretty big. You have Rome stuck up in the corner, although they have some good sized cities. And I think they are now friends with the US. I did see that pop up. We're getting ideologies come through. And yeah, Portugal's growing as well. So there are some big sort of peripheral empires on the map. Austria, the US, the Huns look pretty good. The Songhai in the middle. And Portugal, and you do have some smaller ones. I guess that just leaves the Zulu really, and Rome that I didn't mention, and Spain. And Spain are actually pretty decent as well. But yeah, I'm just going to let this keep running. It's taken a while, as I said. I think I looked at it. There was the list that shows you the civs with the most technologies, and in 75 turns, I think first place got 3 techs. So yeah, they're not exactly skyrocketing towards the modern era by any means. Right, so it's turn 600. The world is in sort of the industrial, not early industrial, I guess late industrial. I don't know which one. You know, they're in like that World War One sort of weapons phase. You've got the early planes, you've got artillery. I think there's Great War infantry kicking about. It is 2100 in the game, but they've got there slowly but surely, and a few things have developed. Spain still sort of the same mostly, but they're here. But you have Austria with Austrian territory here, and then yeah, they just took out the Songhai completely now, so they are looking pretty good. The Huns have also grown up this way. The Zulu have fallen, as you can. Oh no, they're still here. They're still kicking about, just about a couple of cities. But the Huns looking pretty good in the northwest of the map. if I then come back to the south, you have Portugal and what remains of the Songhai in this bottom corner, and the remains of Persia, which is all now part of Portugal. And then you have probably the biggest nation in the world at this point in the USA. But again, similar tech levels. In fact, they don't even have great war infantry. They do have artillery. They seem to be lacking planes despite their size, which is interesting. Maybe a lack of oil for the US. They are being aggressive with those citadels though. And then we have Rome, who is still in the corner, and I think these guys are actually friends now. There was another war between them, but they are buddies. But yeah, this game is going like pretty slow, as you can see. It's turned 600. I am just gonna let it run for another 100. Just keep doing it in like chunks and see if we get to a point where someone wins. Let's just have a little look though while we're here. Let's have a look at the stats. So just on score, which is not the best judge, the USA currently leads from the Austrians. I believe that will be Portugal in third. It is, and then there's a big drop to the Huns, I'm guessing. Yep. And the Spanish, then Rome, and then you've got your sort of one city civs down here, and obviously Arabia has been, I guess they've got a unit walking around, but they've been long out of this one. And let's have a quick look at some of the key stats. Population, the Portuguese certainly leading the way there at 22 million ahead of the US. Crop yield though, America does have the lead over Portugal, so that might change. Production, again the USA currently leading the way. Let's use a different one. Land, America, I mean we can see that doesn't need explaining. Portugal does have the biggest military at the moment ahead of the US, then the Huns, then Austria. So I think we do have these four powers now remaining, and then you have sort of some side powers, Spain in particular, kind of probably a bit better than Rome. Right, what else we got? Social policies, the US kind of tied, but it's fairly close all across, certainly with the civs that are competing. There's only two in it. Anyone on negative happiness? There is, the US and the Huns, not really propped up without the deity difficulty, just on settler. I think that's probably hurting them, because normally you just see like ridiculous numbers here no matter how many cities they have. Well, this is not a good, well, I guess it is a good economic simulator for the world. Every nation running at a deficit of a lot of money. Not sure what's going on with international trade here to allow for this to happen. I guess it's, again, might just be a thing of settler difficulty. Because, again, on a deity, they're all just making, like, stupid amounts of money. So that is interesting. Cities, fairly low. We saw this number in the last two games, which have been at deity difficulty, hit 200. On a same sized map as well, like same civs. Compared to the last game, certainly this is same number of civs and a large Pangaea, 410 civs, so that's quite impressive. That's an interesting difference, you know. That's, I think, what is that? I'm just doing the maths very slowly in my head. I think that's just above 50 cities in total compared to like 200 last time. There are some huge gaps in these empires if you look at the map. Like you see the borders have grown really far from sort of the source cities. There's a bit in the middle of the USA, I'll point to it in a sec, on the actual map, that is like, it's just empty, like for so long. But there you go. Science, Portugal dominating in science output, interesting. Culture, the US is leading the way. So it seems like there's definitely, Austria has the most wonders. There's definitely a fight here for who's going to win. We'll have a look at religions separately, so that's all good. Trade routes, yeah, they've all got trade, so I don't know how they're losing so much money. But yeah, as I was saying, look at this, US, this region here, I mean, it's surrounded by a circle of cities, so it is explainable, but it's like just a complete, like there's no cities on the screen right now, and it's all US territory, apart from that bit, which is pretty interesting. I think Austria is fairly similar, right? There is just some huge swaths. I mean, this border with Spain, right, there's again, we can zoom in, there's one there, I can't, yeah, get rid of that one, but there's not many cities in this. There's like a huge border region that is just pretty much unoccupied apart from these cities here. And again, here you've got another, I mean, here's just empty for some reason. I don't know, no one wants to border each other. But there we go. Let's have a quick look at the religion. I don't know how it's getting on. I haven't been super in the detail. And it's two dominant religions, really. It's Islam from Songhai, and I don't know how that will continue, or if it will continue that well now that they're gone, and Catholicism from Rome. So not really playing into any of the great powers of the world at this point. I do also see the Huns grabbing a couple of cities on this other island, which gives them the Sri Pada wonder, so that was worthwhile. That's a good little settlement. But that's what the world looks like at turn 600. I'll see you at 700. Well, here we go, turn 700, and there's been some big changes. The Huns, not so much, although they are fighting the Austrians here. We've basically just had a world war going on the whole time, so just brace yourselves. This part of Austria still the same, apart from losing a city to the Huns. But Austria did kill Spain. They are gone, so Austria grew significantly there. Portugal has been growing as well with a war with the USA. They have slowly worked their way up. I think that's 4 cities from the borders last time. You can see LA here on the brink. And what we did also see though was the US declare war on Rome, which I think initially triggered the World War. Everyone's just been fighting each other since. But yeah, the US went after Rome and Portugal defended Rome. And that's where Portugal started to make gains. I assume there would have been multiple wars now because of the timing. But Rome, one city... Oh no, they have another one left over here. But that's certainly changed things. I mean, we still have our big 4. And I wouldn't count the USA out for sure. Although, the problem is they're just constantly fighting barbarians. So I think when Portugal turned up, they weren't well positioned. But I mean, it still seems to be ongoing, especially with this Huns-Austrian conflict. Because I thought Austria might be a bit of a dark horse with obviously just eating all of Spain, but that's not really worked out because they are losing here at the moment. But we'll see what another 100 turns leaves us. As I said, we are now down to just the 4 real contender civs. The Songhai are dead. I think, who's the other one? The Zulu have also died towards the top of the map. I don't see any cities of theirs. Spain is just about hanging around here. They have a capital that's occupied. They killed the Zulus last city to survive themselves. So there you go. So there is 5 civs, oh sorry, 6 still alive on the map with Rome and Spain. Very much out of any running now, and it is just the big 4 competing. So we'll see. And they all, look at this, they all meet in this inland sea. Not quite for Portugal, but it's going to be interesting. We'll see if one of these falls, like if one of them is, or 2 of them team up and can push one over the edge. It will be quite exciting. Okay, it's turn 800. I just recorded for 3 minutes. And then when I went to press stop, I realised I hadn't pressed start. So we're going for it again, back to back. But there are now 3 great civs in the world. Austria did lose their central position in the map to the Huns, but they are still here. The Huns obviously gained that territory. They've also gained some territory off the USA, and as you can probably already see, the USA has capitulated basically. The US falling to the Portuguese. They are now basically the Romans of this game. This city from Rome, maybe they'll get there, maybe they'll make a comeback, but they are still around. I guess Spain is also still here. But yeah, Portugal certainly turned it around over the last 100 turns and slowly worked their way through the US cities. And then I did some other checks in my non-recorded monologue, which I just looked. All 4 civs are autocracy. They're about 10 to 15. There's a bit of a range of techs away from the end of the tech tree, so they're not exactly there. There's been a few revolutions. Everyone is now following autocracy. The Huns was one that I saw, and they're currently making no science, because I think that was not that long ago that they had that, and that might be happiness driven as well. But we're going to push on to around turn 1000 just to see who comes out on top. But there you go, the US falling was the big event of, well, like, it's going up in blocks of 100 years, so the last 100 years in game as we get to 2200. Okay, I thought this would be a good time to hop back in. It is turn 1037, just letting it run. We have a pretty big war going on. It is Portugal. Actually, I'm not even sure Portugal are in this or if they've pieced out at the moment. But the Austrians versus the Huns is certainly ongoing. Attila's court has fallen pretty quickly. There is a ton of manufactories there, but Austria quickly grabbed that when the war started and are making some efforts. I feel like Portugal has been at war with the Huns because of the cities they own, but I think they've pieced out at some point. But yeah, just sort of tune in. We're sort of heading towards maybe 2 civs remaining in contention, which would be the Austrians and the Portuguese, and that's pretty cool. We are like we are now there. We're at the top end of technology. You're starting to see that stacking of units from Portugal that we normally get. It's still nowhere near like those big deity games. Like, it's still running relatively quickly. Like, I've done like it's for where we are, like turn 1041. I don't think I've taken any other games into 4-digit numbers, so it's not an issue, but we'll keep going. I also saw Arabia recently enter the modern era, which is interesting. I have no idea where they are or how they're still alive. They must have a unit somewhere on... Oh, there they go. These scouts. I guess they've just been lifted there. They are in these modern era boats, so that makes sense, but that's quite funny. They've outlasted a fair few civs because some of the others are just dead. You know, there is now only 3 civs with cities on the map. Rome is gone. There's no USA. Spain have some units, but that's about it. So fairly interesting stuff. There's a lot of nukes for a settler difficulty Portugal to have there. But we'll keep going and see if we can get down to 1 maybe. I'm not sure we will, but we'll try for a bit longer. Okay, so following the Portuguese victory against the Huns, with the Austrians also conquering a fair bit of territory there, we have reached what might be the worst amount of fallout I've ever seen. These two have been at war for pretty much the 100 turns. Obviously the Huns fell fairly quickly. There's a couple of cities left at the top there, but they fell pretty quickly. These two though have just been nuking each other back to back. A couple of cities on the front line have changed hands, but as you can see, I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, they all have the cities they start with. But you can see Austria's getting nuked all over the place, and vice versa. I mean, the amount of fallout here is ridiculous. This is like just non-stop between two superpowers. We're going to call it here, just because I don't see there being a winner, and it feels... it's gone on for a while, like I said, 100 turns, and I think Austria probably just has enough to defend themselves. Eventually, maybe Portugal will outdo them just because they are a lot bigger. They've got obviously all the US Empire, kind of got all of what was the Zulu, and they've got a fairly big part of the Hunnic Empire as well. So I think Portugal probably is the winner. I don't know exactly. I mean, that's pretty damning for the Austrians. But yeah, they are putting up a fantastic job. Like, it's just a constant nuclear exchange. I mean, looking at that, I assume statistically we're going to see a Portuguese domination still. I mean, that is crazy. 7, is that my maths? That's almost 7 times in terms of population, crops, production, gold, land, military. Okay, that one's not really a good one. Approval, military, sorry, we've done that one. Social policies, yep, 10 ahead. So we don't really need to count the scores as we've done in some other games. It does seem tied there. This technology is like decaying. They're getting slower at getting these last techs, which is interesting. Net gold, that must be a new record. Minus 35,000. That's per turn. Portugal is somehow losing 35,000 gold. Wow. Cities, 58. It's got up there now to 20. Science output, no one has any. I think that is to do with unhappiness. No, it is not. I have no idea how that is feasible. I don't know what they're investing unless they're just building gold. No, because you have like a base layer of science. Is this like a cap on like settler difficulty so that the player just wins the game? I feel like that's what this is. Maybe that's why they're stuck on 75 tech. I feel like it's like so that they can't win the victory. It doesn't apply to this, I guess, because this is domination only victory, but maybe that's something in there. I have no idea. I'm just speculating there and not too concerned. But yeah, that seems really weird. I don't know how they have 0. That because you should have like the base layer, right? It's not. If you had your cities building gold or something in, or built, you know, you build units normally, so it's nothing to do with that. I don't know what exactly is influencing that. Culture's there. I guess it's just the lack of money. I mean, maybe that's reducing it. I mean, that minus 35,000 is crazy. Wonders, treasury. I don't know how it is possible for Portugal to have 15 gold while losing 35,000 per turn, but that's beyond me. A lot of faith stacked up there for Austria at 71k. Obviously, they're not going to have much trade. Oh, they do. I don't know who they're trading with. I'm guessing the Huns, potentially, because they're still around and seem to be at peace. But there we go. I think that's fair to say. We could end the game there with Portugal probably the winner, unless you view gold per turn as the ultimate category. Then in which case, the Austrians win this game. But yeah, at the moment, for the last 80 turns or so, they have just been nuking each other back and forth with no real progress on the front line. We're on turn 1200. I think we can end the fight. We can throw the towel in. We can call it there and give Portugal the points victory in this one. I hope you've enjoyed this little experiment. Let me know if there's some other experiments you'd kind of like to see. I have a feeling that maybe for some of the next games, not settler difficulty, but maybe we could lower it as well, just to see if that makes things a bit more interesting. So maybe probably not prince, but maybe something like king, or the 6th level. So is it immortal? I think it's emperor is 6th, right, and immortal is 7, whichever way around that is. We could maybe try one of those. instead, because obviously Deity, they just spam out units and there's no restrictions. This game has obviously restricted them a bit. It's also just been a lot nice. Well, this is probably the other extreme, right? It's ran really well, but it's also taken forever. Maybe there's a midpoint in there somewhere we can find. But let me know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please do be sure to leave a like and a comment down below if you have, and be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.